All right, voices from the field. Like I said earlier, what we have here is a platform. And this platform we have built for women, youth, and people with persons with disability. And so today we will be hearing from those people, frontliners on the field. And we will be spotlighting stories from women, youth, and persons with disability who are building inclusive businesses. Please put your hands together for them. Put your hands together for them. It's not easy. We will start off this session first with the founder, Techly Marketing Limited. He is someone who is doing so much. He does not see himself as being limited in any way, but he's breaking barriers, pulling down boundaries, and building bridges. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Make welcome Olusola Adeyefa, founder, Techly Marketing Limited. Is that? What? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for this privilege. I want to appreciate the CEO of IIF for this invitation. Thank you so much, Ma. And I want to acknowledge all our dignitaries who have spoken earlier, all the speakers. We've learned a lot. For me, I have very few minutes, and I'm going to, it's a spotlight, it's a voice from the field, what I've learned over the years. I became disabled, like some people will say, but I contacted disability as a teenager at the age of 18, and it's been about 26 years now. And over that period, I've learned that the only reason why I'm disabled, as far as I'm concerned, is because I need to speak for the people who have no voice. So I got into the university, and I learned that there are over 25 million persons living with disability in Nigeria. And that figure has increased over the years. So about 10% of our population live with disability. But for my organization, Techly Marketing Limited, quickly, what I've done, having graduated from school, is to try to work as an entrepreneur and then set up my own organization because there were no funding to run as a business, as a person with disability. Many people wouldn't believe that you could run a business because you have so-called some challenges. So I've been bootstrapping, I've been relying on community support, and it's been amazing in the last 10 years that I've been able to turn over quite a significant amount of money and train a lot of persons who are underserved in our society. So for Techly Marketing Limited, we do marketing communication services, integrated marketing communication, and then we have a learning hub where we provide resources for people with disability to improve their marketing communication skills. I've done that for 10 years. I'm certified with the Chartered Institute of Marketing UK. And one of the things that I found very interesting is that many people with disabilities, particularly female, are going into technology to fast track their growth. So because the community largely has a lot of discrimination and limitation, as a matter of fact, disability is not the limitation. The limitation is in the communities, in our society, right? So if there were no ramp for me to move up, I won't be able to get up this stage. And even with the ramp, I still needed support. And like somebody said, technology is enabling us to move faster, but we need empathy, right? Not sympathy. Sympathy is when you just give me a hand out, but empathy is when you give me a hand up, right? So I'm glad that so far we've worked with a lot of female-led organizations and disability-led organizations who have had significant growth in their organization because of our marketing technology support, in their customer relationship management softwares and digital advertising and a couple of other things that we've done for them. One major story is that of a microfinance bank, prominent one in Lagos, that we work with a female-led marketing manager, and they were able to increase their growth. In fact, it's so significant that their sales went up within the period we worked with them on digital advertising, and their community engagement went as far as 55% higher than when it was before we joined them. And since then, it's been quite sustainable for them to keep us on their board, on their team, as a secondary partner. Right, so we have a few other partners like that we work with that keep our cash flow running. But then when it comes to funding, it's still very difficult because people, like I said earlier, do not really have, apart from the fact that there are all the policies and all these that we talked about are really not accessible for persons with disability. Just like the main stage is not accessible. If you look at the room, you will barely see a lot of persons with disability. It's because when it comes to businesses and enterprises or being entrepreneur, we still have that limitation of recognizing the potentials and capacity of persons with disability to deliver. Now, one of the things I like to talk about is my relationship with the visually impaired people. And I have Mr. Razak, who's worked with the World Bank in the room. If you want someone who can use a laptop very fast, type very fast, very focused, you need to get a visual impaired person on your team. Particularly, and it looks like, it looks impossible. But then, let them handle a laptop for you. You will be surprised how fast they will deliver on the job. And that cuts across so many other spheres of disability, the visually impaired. We just need empathy. And empathy is not expensive. It's just providing us that tool, that support, that resources. I'm going to wrap up by saying, because of time, there is a lot I have on my slide, but I'm just going to make this very straight, because I realize that this spotlight is not just on me, on my company, but on the disability community in Nigeria, and by extension in Africa. If I'm privileged to be the only person with disability that will speak on this stage today, it's very important that I speak for other millions of persons with disabilities who would not have this opportunity, but can also be reached out to subsequent to this meeting by people in this room. And it is important that we begin to allow people with disability in, not just as employees in our system, but train them to become entrepreneurs and employers in our community. We have a lot of them. We have a lot of capacity. From the World Bank reports, I have an insight through Mr. Razak. What we are losing, the amount we are losing because of lack of inclusion of persons with disability or disability-led organization is as much as $1.3 billion in this country. And this is a very solid research done by the World Bank, right? And that research report will be out very soon. And it's gone through a lot of simulation, a lot of models that have been used to calculate that. And if we begin to include these people, not just that because they're intelligent or because they're competent or because they have the capacity to manage this fund if they have that opportunity. We just need the platform. We need the right platform. We need the right people. We need the right support. My organization still struggle with even accessing fund after 10 years of having a continuous sustainable cash flow, right? Because a lot of people are still shutting their doors as persons with disability. Even the banking system is not as accessible. We had the royal father saying in the morning that he had to create a policy in central bank to say that all banks should have a branch that is accessible to persons with disability. I still go to banks where I can't access the banking hall and I have my money in the bank. And I have to attend to the security gates, because of these overall doors or the staircases. So these are some of the issues. But if we begin to open our doors, more people with disability will be able to come out and utilize these resources and improve our communities. We will have less violence. We have less beggars on the streets. We would have less, sympathy, and more people will add value to our community. I want to thank you all, and I want to believe that going forward, by the time we have this session again next year or in the next 2 years, we have more persons with disability who will be able to share their business story and their success stories in this meeting. Thank you so much.
You can do better than that. Please put your hands together. Put your hands together. Thank you so much, Mr. Olusola. Well said.